brick is any combination of these that you choose. So if you say, hey, I want a brick and I only want solar panels, people typing in solar panels, you can do that. But if you also say, I want a brick for solar panels, and you also want to include distributed energy resources, you can combine the two together. And now you have one brick that has two categories. After you make the categories or you make your brick, you can't identify which contact looked up what word. Going more broad, because if you were looking up solar panels and you ended up clicking on another tab that maybe was named renewable energy within the same website, you're now on both of these lists. So there is overlap if your industries are, the keywords are all very similar. So start small, I would say. Now, the second thing with this is you can customize all the data and filter it. So there's a custom database button where all those unique databases end up. Everything that I just showed you within here, if you buy it from us, you never lose access. If you stop paying, then you don't have access. But if you start paying again in the future, it'll come back. Within the white label, you can set up your own market, and anything that you purchase, you can actually resell to your own users. So if you know how Go High Level works, it's a similar concept. It's not Go High Level, but I just compare it because the idea is with the little investment you make, $500 a month, and you get to keep adding databases, you collect them. And as you collect them, someone down the line might say, hey, can I pay you $200 for some age leads for student debt forgiveness? Well, yeah, I have it. I can go and sell it to you now. So the whole point of this is a tool to break even, right? So if you're able to break even selling a little bit of data, because people, everyone asks everybody. If that's the case, now you can get your leads for free for the month. And that's what I encourage everyone to do. Is if you can find a few people, you can offer them 100,000 leads if you wanted to, because technically you have that ability to do that. But that's just one very important thing I wanted to point out about this entire program of what it's designed for. And we have a really easy setup. If you want to set up a website within the white label, you can actually host it on your own domain, just like Go High Level. You can put in your own merchant, so then you can take payments. This is a screen to help you do the PCI document. And within here, you can actually change the colors to anything that you want, add your company information, and you can customize it in full. Now, there's a tab called resources in here, which has a lot of good videos of how to help you. So keep this in mind, where all this opens up into blog step-by-step of how to set something up and how to use different features. And additionally, one thing that is, a lot of you guys ask, can you have multiple users? And answer is no, not because we don't want to, just because it's not set up that way. But if you want to get multiple users, you can flip the admin switch, you get to the white label, and now you can sign up as many users as you want. And if you don't want to charge them, you can sign them up regularly and just add them to a free plan. So you can set it up where you don't charge them. You can set it up where they don't have to put a card. As long as you're paying us, you have full control over how these users get access. And you can also manually assign the databases that you purchase one by one. And so if someone's unhappy maybe, or you need to give them a little bit of extra something, then you have that easy flexibility to run off and do that. And the final thing with all the customers is the ability to add the list limit. So within here, you can control how many records they can take at a time. You're set at 1,000. So what that means is 1,000 divided by however many users that download records at every minute. So if you have 2 users downloading 500 records in 1 minute, that's 1,000. That's no problem. That'll work just fine. But if you were to have, let's say, 1,000 users download 100 records at a time, you're going to go over. And then you're going to have to increase the list limit through us, which is $250 per 3,000 increase. But there's no reason to do that until you're making money. And that's kind of the idea, that you don't have to spend too much money at first to get it going. The white label is free to set up. It doesn't cost anything for you to go in, flip the admin switch, and actually start setting the domain up. One thing that you obviously won't have access to are credits. And I'm going to hop back in here because I just got it working again, disregarding. So this is the dashboard where there's 2 sets of data. There's the traditional data, people, business, solar. What this is public records that get traced to the contact info. So what do I mean? Homeowners, everyone's a tax assessment record. So we know the owners, and then we go off and we give trace to get the cell phone or landline. And you notice how some of these have NA. We have an easy solution. You just flip this switch right here, search, either by hitting enter or by hitting the search button. And you're now going to be left with only the records that have that contact information available. Second, the custom databases. Now, all of those databases we just looked at over here, and the terminology brick, right within here, here's your brick. So the debt relief intent may have been of people looking for the straight up debt relief, or it might have been near bankruptcy for my credit card, or how to pay off loans. Any of those combinations could have been used for this particular one. You get the same permissions. So when we build you a brick, no one else gets access to it for a month and a half. So it's your custom amount that you want to do. This is people researching business valuation. This is someone looking up sell their home, and you'll notice how they're dated from February or week 4. They go on continuously, depending on when people ask for and when they were subscribed. So if you're subscribed month after month and you do business lending, you'd end up getting every single lending databases, a merchant cash one that one person pays us for, and then a business lending. The thing that to make clear is they use the same keywords. They just wanted it to be different names because that's what they sell. And what I mean directly is maybe you applied for an SBA loan, but you're 6 months in business, no revenue, no employees. You're not going to get an SBA loan. So your only option would be a merchant cash or a hard money loan based on your credit and based on your asset. So same thing with IUL, where you're 70 years old and you're applying for IUL and you don't have money. You're not going to get an IUL. You're going to get final expense. So just things to think about when you are making your bricks, saying, hey, I want business lending as one brick and merchant cash advance as a second. You have all the flexibility to filter on this side right here. I'm not going to go through this. There's a lot of videos and a lot of creativity you can do. Every record, you have the ability to make sure that all of them either have a cell phone, an email, or they have any particular contact method. Just like before, the switch, you remove all the NAs. So now every record in here has a mobile phone.